Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And, we might be a little late to this story, but we're going to talk about Masters of the Universe, the live-action reboot movie from Amazon. And are
you allowed to talk about it?
Are we allowed? Do we have the permission of the Masters of the Universe fandom to discuss Masters of the Universe?
Don't care.
Yeah, we don't care. So I don't care about the franchise either. I'm going to be honest. I'm so over it at this point. Like, I'm not excited about really anything that comes out regarding it because the people in charge of it now, I don't think they know what they're doing. And this looks like another indicator that they don't know what they're doing. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the star of the Amazon Studios, which I'm sure is going to be fantastic, a Masters of the Universe movie. And he says it's going to be quite different from the source material. Oh boy.
Well, which source material? There's like a ton of it.
Well, that's just it. But it sounds like it's going to be a very different take. It's going to start on Earth, which everybody always loves.
Yes, everybody's mad about it. They were already worried about that before he opened his mouth.
Yes.
Because they're basically doing what they did with the first movie, which is it's going to take place on Earth because it's cheaper.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know how this is going to go, but let's talk about it. We're going to dive in. Before you get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to clownshishtv.com. We got more news out there. Go out to clownfish-.com. You can check out the Plus Club, get exclusive content. And yeah, so we have a very long sordid history with Masters of the Universe. I'm not going to rehash everything, but let's just say we didn't really care for the other.
We didn't lie. We were right. Bite me.
Hashtag Clownfish was right. Revelation was exactly what we thought it was going to be.
The thing I'm worried about with this movie, too, is the fact that when the movie came out when we were kids in the 80s, people went to it because there's a lot of kids who loved He-Man, and they were buying the toys, and they loved He-Man, and they wanted to go. Right. Given the reception to Revelation and Revolution and the amount of people that didn't watch it, I'm just, who's going to watch this? You know what I mean? We don't have the audience of children now. It's going to be all, old school fans. And if you're going with the old school fans, because kids aren't going to know who the hell He-Man is, and you're going with old school fans, you're going to have to appeal to those fans.
Yeah.
And so you're telling me you're going to try to do it now without the tie-ins of the cartoons and the kids show now, and you're going to try to appeal to the audience that existed for the last, how many decades, but you're not going to use the source material. I just don't. Danger.
Yeah, there's some red flags, and then we got Jared Leto playing Skeletor. That's a kind of a red flag because pretty much every movie he's involved with, it tends to turn to crap.
Someone has that one where the death opening the doors for movies, and you've seen that with Mothra before and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And this time it's for all the movies Jared Leto was in.
Morbius and Suicide Squad. Yeah. So the only bright spot in the announcement so far for this movie, from my opinion, is that Travis Knight is directing it, and he did Bumblebee, which is the only live-action Transformers movie I acknowledge exists because it's the only one that feels like it actually is a Transformers movie, right? And it felt G1, and it worked. I was hoping, with him being attached to it, that we would have something similar with He-Man, but I'm not liking what I'm hearing. I think it's going to really deviate. So this is coming out from Amazon Studios. Again, the same Amazon Studios that gave us the Rings of Power. They're also doing a Voltron reboot with Henry Cavill that's going to deviate heavily from the source material.
I know. I just don't get it because I guess who is it for? Because the audiences that you have built for this and have stayed with it, you can make some changes, of course, modernize it to some level, but you have to keep it based on what it was based on if you want that audience to show up. It's just common sense. And if Hollywood hasn't learned anything in the last 10 years, I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah, Sonic is a great example. I mean, Sonic just crossed $1 billion. Not the one movie. I mean, it took all 3 movies to get there, but it could have been a massive disaster. And
if they'd stuck with what people hated, it would have been. And
if they stuck with Ugly Sonic, I don't think it would have been a non-starter. And I think that we're so far into the internet drama, the culture war crap, that at this point, the consumer tells you months and months and months or years in advance what they don't want. And there are lots of examples of what not to do, but then people still run headlong into the wood chipper, right? And they're surprised. They're surprised when their movie fails or their show fails or whatever. So yeah, it's supposed to come out in theaters in June 5th, 2026. It's not a lot of time. That's like a year and a half. They said the synopsis so far hints at an Earthbound origin story. A 10-year-old Adam crashes onto Earth, separated from his magical power sword. That sounds like Thundercats. Nearly 2 decades later, he must reclaim his destiny and return to Eternia to battle Skeletor and uncover the mysteries of his past.
Yeah, this is what they've been saying. I mean, this is not new news about what they've said that before. Yeah. But it's just like, come on.
Well, this is what what's his name? Galitzine, the guy playing him. Anyway, this is what he said about it. He said, "Look, what I will say for our version is quite different from the original animation, which we all agree was camp within its own right and worked so well for the time. But there's been a couple of iterations, obviously, since there was a Revelation version of Masters of the Universe in the comics, and we're very much treating our script as a Bible, but it's kind of amazing to hear what this show meant to a lot of people."
So let's shit on it.
I know, right? It really was formative for a lot of people, so it's exciting to do something that will have a nostalgia element as well as hopefully attract a bunch of new fans.
That's it. The second part is what they keep relying on too much, and it rarely works. But they ruin it.
Yeah, so...
I hope they don't here. I don't know if they will. I have not seen scripts, so I cannot tell you.
Cosmic Book News has a little bit more on it since we heard about it. So we got his quote in there. And, so this is Daniel RPK is an alleged industry insider, but he said that how it's going to start is Adam is going to be a guy in the real world working a boring office job.
Right. Yay. That's going to be fun.
The scooper adds, the whole He-Man and the Masters of the Universe story are tales he heard as a little kid. It's further said that Adam goes on the journey of self-discovery rather than just another spectacle of battles and magic. That's not good. So he crashes on Earth, becomes a working stiff who works out, I guess. And then he discovers the magic sword, and then they probably wind up going back to Eternia for the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Cheaper that way.
Because it's cheaper. Skeletor probably comes to Earth to look for him.
But he probably comes to Earth, but he looks human.
Uncle Keldor. Now, I will give Jared Leto that. He looks like Keldor. Oh my God, they're going to make him Keldor for the whole movie. They are. That's what they're going to do, isn't it?
I don't know.
Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper, right? This is an Amazon movie. They already blew their budget on Lord of the Rings. So he's going to be Keldor for the whole damn movie.
We don't know this.
I'm guessing.
Clarification.
Yeah, we have to say that because even if we guess, people are like, Clownfish lied.
We literally had stuff, and then they're like, you're just lying. You're making it up. And
Turns out to be true. Whoops.
I know, and then there wasn't time to change it. Yeah, there was, because when we leaked stuff that came out, we told you about, was way before they even released the first show. So of course they could.
It was like a year and a half out. And it only pertained to the first couple episodes.
I love this. Amazon Studios are effing idiots. I'm talking about Kevin Smith going in a completely different direction too. I'm talking about his more progressive approach. And the backlash was so big that the ratings fell off a cliff that when Smith fixed it the second half, it turned out to be pretty decent. It did, but you lost a bunch of the audience. I mean, there wasn't a huge audience first time, but you lost a bunch by Revolution.
Yeah.
And that's true. I'm sorry. Don't like it. Go scream about redheads some more. I'm sorry. Go on about how much you love redheads, but you couldn't handle one if your life depended on it.
So this is it's interesting. This is James Bond at Amazon Studios, and they said that Amazon are a bunch of effing idiots. Obviously, they are. They spent $1 billion on Lord of the Rings, made their own fanfic, and did it badly, and ran the. Basically, I believe the Power of the Rings. Is that what it's called? Rings of Power? I can't freaking remember. I don't care. The Amazon Lord of the Rings
Rings of Power.
Yeah, it did so much damage to the brand that even if they bring those other Gollum movies out, I don't think anybody's going to watch.
Well, the producer's the one that said these people are effing idiots.
Yeah.
So the one saying it was somebody actually producing something. They're saying they're not much. Yeah. They're worried about He-Man. They're worried about Voltron.
Yeah.
I mean, Henry Cavill's in Voltron, but I'm sorry, no matter how much I love Henry Cavill, if Voltron sucks, I don't think even he can save it. He was in The Witcher
too, and it started out okay, and then it came off the rails, right? And they're already saying the Voltron adaptation is going to be very different from the cartoon. Because that's what everybody wants.
Well, that's what I don't understand. You want to use the brand. You want to make something with this brand because you own it. You're trying to make money off it. So your go-to is, let's change everything about it. And I'm like, you can make some changes. Because, I mean, let's be fair. You should make some changes to it. But then you just go too far, and then you're like, we want new fans, and you focus on these new fans, and they're usually the type of people you don't want. And then you focus on them, and then it ends up being a disaster, and then those people run everybody else off. Yeah. Anyway, what you have left, they run off. So I'm like, good luck with this. Hopefully it doesn't suck. I mean, some of the casting choices I don't think were terrible.
Yeah, I mean, people were kind of mad about Idris Elba's Man-at-Arms, because they race swapped. But I actually like Idris Elba. I think he might actually be a bright spot in this. Like he comes across. I mean, he basically played Man-at-Arms in Suicide Squad anyway. He had the armor and everything, But like, I don't know. The He-Man brand is damaged. I mean, they tried to bring it back as a kid show, and the kid show is actually better than Revelation. They did the damage with Revelation. The toys, like, you can barely find them in the stores now. Like, nobody cares. They're sitting over at Ollie's. I mean, to be fair, the original line, even though it was a huge, huge hit in the day, it only lasted like 5 or 6 years too. So, we forget that. I think we forget that. Like, I was thinking about that the other day, and I'm like, all these like massive toy lines that are still, these franchises, these IP, they're still around like 20, 30, 40 years after they peaked. They might have only had like 5 years in the sun, back in the day, but they left such an impression on our generation that they just keep bringing them back again and again and again. Well, yeah, they keep bringing. I said the toy sales burned out long ago, but the legend never did. Yeah. Even though they keep making new He-Man toys, so that's not true. But I just want. Okay, side note, I just want some She-Ras with brushable hair, please. You're gonna make all these new dolls. Can you please give them brushable hair? That's all I'm asking. Yeah, it really isn't that much of a request. It really isn't. You got one She-Ra with brushable hair at PowerCon, and come on. That was it. They promised those. They promised those like 12-inch dolls, and they never did them. Oh, I would have given them all my money for that. Yeah. And like, I know I'm not the only one. A lot of people would have bought those. I think they're going to outsource them. Well, here's the thing too. Like Mattel, we don't even know where Mattel is at right now because there was talk that Mattel was going to get sold. So they might even be like, yeah, we're just kind of holding off on, the movie's going to be a thing, but like we're holding off on any major plans till we see if there's even a Mattel left. Because who the hell knows? But whatever. We're going to wrap this up. Yep. Let's wrap this up, guys. All right. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later. Bye.